New York joined the ranks of states legalizing recreational marijuana just last year. Since then, hopeful entrepreneurs have been lining up to get their affairs in order and set up shop. But finding retail space is a major hurdle for this burgeoning business in New York City. We spoke to some experts to find out why.
Across the board in the cannabis space, funding is the number one issue. Then real estate.
I mean, most of the issues on the leasing and the purchase and sale agreements are really on the ownership or the landlord side. So the key for a tenant looking for viable property is making sure that, the property itself, that the landlord's actually in a position where they can lease it to you.
In New York, like most states, the law requires dispensaries be a certain distance away from schools and houses of worship. This means in a dense city like New York, available space is very limited. There's also the matter of requiring space for cultivation in upstate New York and industrial space.
The industrial market here in the East Coast is very, very tight. I was just speaking with some industrial owners here in New Jersey, and they own 2.5 million square feet of industrial property. And the first time in their 50 years of business, they're at 0% vacancy.
The state suggested that the first licenses go to those with marijuana convictions, but it is unclear when or how many will be awarded to a broader pool of applicants. With New York's marijuana industry estimated to be worth $5.9 billion by 2030, according to a new Frontier data report, entrepreneurs are clamoring for licensing and retail space. But operating a business involving controlled substances poses a challenge for both business owners and landlords.
I think that landlords, especially retail in New York City, are obviously attracted to the price per square foot that is being offered for properties for a cannabis-related use. But that price per square foot does come with a cost because there's a lot more red tape to go through to get that deal across the finish line.
Some of that red tape includes the fact that these businesses are legalized on only a state rather than federal level. Many insurers won't cover what is deemed unlawful activity, and lenders are subsequently feeling uncomfortable backing a cannabis-related business. The fastest solution to these holdups seems to be having money to pave your way.
All the other hurdles that you have to go through are kind of hurdles that you kind of have to pay for. So you can get over them, you just have to have an attorney, You have to have an app writer, these are other hurdles that are in front of you. But the smoothest way over them is obviously paying an app writer to do your app. Paying an attorney to review everything, paying an attorney to submit your application properly. So those are technically things they call pay-to-play hurdles. So they're there, but they're a little bit easier to overcome if you have the funding, back to the funding, to pay these ancillary businesses to work in your favor.
New York's recreational cannabis industry is still in its early days, and with time and adjustments, many are hopeful that the current hurdles will be lessened. The CBD market in the U.S., and especially New York, is thriving, indicating that recreational cannabis businesses will have a ready market to enter. Landlords with CBD storefronts under their belts may be more willing to lease to cannabis businesses, but restrictions like staying a certain distance from schools and houses of worship will still apply, lessening the number of CBD businesses able to expand. Do you have thoughts on New York City's up-and-coming recreational cannabis market? Let us know in the comments.